Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my beloved brothers and sisters. Welcome to this gentle daily reminder.
My dear sister, my dear brother, what you keep calling a breakup was never just a simple ending between two people. It was a mercy that your heart has not fully recognized yet, a divine intervention wrapped in pain. Allah closed that door with wisdom so deep that only time and reflection will allow you to understand it. What left your life was never meant to stay in your story, never meant to walk with you toward your Jannah. It was only a chapter, not your destination. And in removing them, Allah was not taking something away from you. He was returning you to Himself. You have been carrying this pain in silence, holding tears that no one else sees, pretending to be okay, while your heart feels like it is breaking into pieces. There are moments when you sit alone and replay everything, trying to understand where it all went wrong, trying to find meaning in something that feels so confusing. It felt real to you. It felt like love. It felt like something that was meant to last. You saw a future. You built dreams. You allowed your heart to attach deeply. And when it ended, it did not just feel like you lost a person. It felt like you lost a part of yourself. But this was never your failure, never a punishment, never Allah turning away from you. This was Allah protecting you in a way you could not yet comprehend. Allah sees what you cannot see. He knows the unseen details, the hidden intentions, the quiet changes in hearts that you were unaware of. While you were holding on to the memories, the affection and the hope, Allah was seeing the reality behind it all. He saw the distance that was growing, the sincerity that was fading, the ways your heart was slowly being pulled away from Him. And out of His mercy, He did not allow it to continue. Because sometimes what feels right to us is quietly harming us. And sometimes what we beg to keep is the very thing that is taking us further away from who we are meant to become. You cried because it felt like they walked away from you, but in truth, they were removed. It was not random, it was not meaningless. It was written with precision and care by the one who loves you more than anyone ever could. It hurts because your heart was invested, because you cared deeply, because you gave a part of yourself. And that pain is real, it is heavy, it is overwhelming at times. But just like a surgeon makes a painful cut to remove something harmful, Allah allows a wound in your heart to save your soul. What feels like destruction is actually protection. What feels like loss is actually preservation. There are moments in life when a person becomes more than just a person in your heart. They become your source of happiness, your emotional anchor, the one you turn to before you even turn to Allah. Without realizing it, your focus begins to shift. Your peace starts depending on their attention. Your mood changes with their presence. Your thoughts revolve around them more than your connection with your Creator. And that is where the danger begins. Because anything that takes a place above Allah in your heart becomes a test, a weight that slowly drains your peace and dims your light. So Allah, in His infinite mercy, removes what stands between you and Him. Even if it is something you love, even if it is someone you believed you could not live without, because He knows that your soul deserves more than temporary attachment, more than a connection that distracts you from your purpose. What you thought was completing you was actually slowly emptying you. It was taking your focus, your energy, your sincerity, and placing it in something that was never meant to hold that weight. You thought you lost someone, but in reality, you were being saved from losing yourself. You were being pulled back before you drifted too far, before your heart became too attached to something that could not truly fulfill it. Allah stepped in quietly, without warning, in a way that felt painful, but was filled with mercy. He took them away not because He wanted to hurt you, but because He wanted to protect you from a deeper hurt that you could not yet see. There is a verse in the Quran that reminds us that we may dislike something while it is good for us. And this is not just a concept, it is a lived reality. Right now, the separation feels heavy, it feels unfair, it feels like something you did not deserve. But within it is a hidden goodness, a protection for your future, your faith, and your inner peace. What you thought was right for you was not aligned with what Allah had written for your growth. And slowly, without even realizing it, you are changing. The version of you that is rising from this pain is different. More sincere, more aware, more connected to Allah. You find yourself turning to Him in ways you did not before, speaking to Him with honesty, with vulnerability, with tears that come from a place of truth. You begin to understand that your strength does not come from another person, it comes from your connection with your Creator. You begin to feel a different kind of peace, one that is not dependent on anyone's presence or attention. One day, you will look back at this moment with a completely different perspective. The pain that feels so overwhelming right now will make sense. The tears you cried will feel like a turning point, and you will find yourself thanking Allah for taking them away, even though there was a time you were begging Him to let them stay, because you will see clearly what you cannot see now. You will understand that what you thought was the end was actually the beginning of something far better. What you saw as rejection was actually protection. What you felt as heartbreak was actually your rescue. You were not abandoned, you were redirected. You were not left behind, you were guided towards something greater. This moment was not about losing someone, it was about finding your way back to Allah. Their distance, their change, their silence, all of it was part of a plan already written. No matter how much you tried to hold on, you could not stop what was meant to leave. Because when Allah decides to remove something from your life, it is never without reason. It is always to make space for something better, something purer, something more aligned with your purpose. You may have seen a future with them, but Allah saw a future where your potential would have been limited, your growth delayed, your heart distracted. You may have felt like you were not enough, but the truth is they were not meant for the person you are becoming. They could not walk alongside the version of you that is rising, the version that is turning back to Allah with sincerity and seeking peace over temporary attachment. You made dua for them, you asked Allah to keep them in your life, and when that did not happen, it felt like your prayers were unanswered. But Allah heard every word, every tear, every moment of pain, and still He chose to remove them because He was answering a deeper prayer, the one where you asked for what is best for your faith, your life, and your hereafter. They were standing in the way of your healing, your clarity, your growth. And sometimes growth does not come from adding more. It comes from removing what no longer serves you. You did not fail. You were not lacking. You were not too much or too little. You were protected from becoming someone who forgets Allah, protected from a connection that would have left you empty despite how beautiful it appeared on the surface. You loved them deeply, and that love was real. But Allah's love for you is greater, purer, and more complete. He removed them even while your heart was still holding on, because He knew what your future needed. And in time, you will come to realize that this was never a loss. It was a divine redirection, a mercy in disguise, A moment where Allah chose your soul over your temporary attachment and brought you back to the place where your heart truly belongs. Breakups that feel like endings are often the very moments that become breakthroughs. What feels like loss is, in reality, protection unfolding in a way the heart cannot yet understand. Nothing truly meant for you can ever pass you by. What leaves was never written to stay. What is written for you will arrive in its time, with peace attached to it, not confusion, not anxiety, not a constant fear of losing it. There is no loss here. There is only rescue. You were spared from something that could not carry your soul safely. You were gently removed, even hidden for a time, until something more deserving is written into your life. Their absence is not a sign that Allah is silent, and their leaving is not a reflection of your worth. They left because Allah cleared the path for something deeper, something safer, something that draws you closer to Him instead of pulling you away. This is not punishment. This is redirection. This is mercy wrapped in a form that feels painful at first, but carries wisdom far beyond what the heart can immediately see. It is a blessing that arrived disguised as heartbreak. Healing will come slowly and quietly, and one day a genuine smile will return. Not because someone came back, but because clarity finally settled in your heart and you understood why they had to leave. There is no rejection in what Allah removes. There is only redirection towards something better, something purer, something aligned with your peace. The people written for your life will never disturb your soul or take you away from your Creator. They will bring ease, not heaviness. They will strengthen your faith, not weaken it. They will walk beside you in a way that feels calm and secure, not uncertain and draining. When the ache of missing them rises again, turn toward the one who never left. In His presence, hearts find rest and wounds begin to close. Even without closure from them, a deeper closure forms within, one rooted in understanding and acceptance. Their leaving was never about your value. It was about Allah protecting you in a way only He could. Separation often comes before elevation. Before Allah raises a person, He creates distance between them and what no longer belongs in their life. Even the greatest among creation experienced moments of isolation before their purpose fully unfolded. Being alone is not abandonment. It is preparation. It is purification. It is the space where distractions fade and the heart begins to see clearly again. What feels like a breakdown is often the beginning of a breakthrough. The silence surrounding you is not emptiness. It is an invitation to reconnect with your soul. It is a space where clarity begins to form, where the noise fades, and where truth becomes easier to recognize. This moment of stillness is not meant to break you. It is meant to rebuild you from within. There is wisdom in every closed door. Some people are only meant to exist in certain chapters of your life. They cannot continue into the next phase because they do not belong in the version of you that Allah is shaping. So they are removed, not out of anger, but out of mercy, because growth requires letting go of what holds you back. If certain people had remained, your growth would have been limited. Your heart would have remained dependent, your soul distracted, your connection with Allah weakened. So in His mercy, Allah creates distance. He places you in moments of solitude, not to punish you, but to help you rediscover yourself and rebuild your connection with Him. There is something powerful about being alone with Allah. It is in that solitude that hearts soften, tears become sincere, and healing begins in ways no human can provide. It is where the next version of you starts to take shape. A version that no longer chases people for validation, but walks with a quiet sense of peace. A version that understands its worth and knows that true fulfillment comes from closeness to Allah. Growth is often hidden. Like a seed buried deep in the soil, unseen and unnoticed, transformation happens in silence. No one sees the struggle, no one applauds the effort, but beneath the surface, something strong is being built. That is where you are right now. Not lost, but growing. Not broken, but being reshaped into something stronger. What felt like losing love is actually gaining purpose. What felt like rejection is actually refinement. Just as gold must go through intense heat to shine, the heart must go through moments of difficulty to become stronger and more resilient. Every tear, every moment of pain is shaping you into someone who is more aware, more grounded, and more connected to Allah. Pain is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that something within you is being transformed. It is carving away what no longer belongs, making space for something better. The silence you are experiencing is teaching lessons that noise could never reveal. There is beauty in this solitude because it is here that Allah writes the next chapter of your life. The person you are becoming does not chase what is not meant for them. This version of you walks with peace, feels complete even in solitude, and understands that true companionship begins with a strong connection to Allah. There is a quiet strength developing within you, a calm certainty that you are never truly alone. When the time comes and you step out of this silent season, everything will feel different. The things you once begged for will no longer hold the same weight in your heart. Your soul will have tasted something deeper, something more fulfilling than any temporary connection. It will have tasted closeness to Allah, a peace that no human can replace. This phase of your life is not meant to be understood by everyone. It is personal. It is sacred. It is a journey between you and Allah. What you thought was love may have felt real, but sometimes what appears as love is only a reflection of deeper needs within the heart. It reveals wounds that have not yet healed and attachments that have grown too strong. Allah allows these experiences not to break you, but to show you, to reveal what needs attention within your heart, to teach you the difference between attachment and true love, because not everything that feels like love is meant to last. Sometimes it is simply a lesson, a moment designed to guide you back to what truly matters. Real love does not require you to lose yourself. It does not pull you away from your faith or make you question your worth. Real love begins with peace, and peace begins with Allah. It is steady, calm, and rooted in sincerity. If you have been crying, feeling like everything was lost when they left, understand this clearly. Nothing meant for you was taken away. What left was never truly yours to keep. What you lost was not a blessing. It was a distraction. What you lost was not love. It was a test that had completed its purpose in your life. A test sent by Allah was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you. He saw what you could not see. He saw how much you were bending yourself just to fit someone else's version of love. He saw how often you silenced your own voice just to avoid their distance. He saw how your heart was making space for someone while slowly removing the space that belonged to him. So, he stepped in not to embarrass you, not to shame you, but to rescue you. He pulled you out of something your soul had already grown tired of carrying. He allowed promises to fall apart so your spirit could finally heal. He allowed their absence to teach you what their presence never could. What you thought you needed was never them. What you truly needed was the version of yourself that existed before them. The one who remembered Allah often. The one who smiled without needing a reason. the one who did not wait for a message to feel worthy, the one who felt whole even in solitude. That version of you still exists. It was never lost, only buried beneath attachment and emotion. This moment was the key to uncover it again. Nothing was truly lost. Clarity was gained. Distance was created from what was draining your soul. Understanding was given that not everything that feels like love is meant to last. Some connections are not meant to stay forever. Some arrive to teach, to expose hidden wounds, to heal parts of the heart that was silently breaking. Allah removes what distracts, even when it appears beautiful on the surface. The pain is still there, the memories still echo, and certain moments still feel real even when they were not as true as they seemed. But alongside that pain, something stronger has developed. There is a deeper awareness of your worth. There is a quieter heart, but a stronger faith. There is a realization that anything which distances you from Allah cannot truly be called love. Real love brings peace. It draws the heart closer to Jannah. It does not create confusion. It does not pull you away from prayer. And it does not make you beg for validation. What ended was never true love in its purest form. It was a lesson from above, a moment designed to teach you how to return, how to rise, and how to find comfort within your own soul. Love will come again, and when it does, it will feel different. It will not be about perfection, but about peace. It will not be built on empty promises, but on a connection that brings you closer to Allah. Until that time arrives, even the pain you feel now carries value. Even the tears that fall in silence are shaping something within you. Sometimes what feels like love was simply Allah teaching you how to never lose yourself again. This heartbreak did not delay your life. It delivered you exactly where you needed to be. It may feel like you have fallen behind, like others are moving forward, while you remain in the same place, holding on to something that ended too soon. It may feel like everything you invested has been wasted, like time, love, and effort disappeared without meaning. But nothing was wasted. Every moment carried purpose. Every emotion contributed to your growth. There is a feeling of being left behind, of watching others build their lives while you are still trying to heal. There is a quiet loneliness that lingers even when people are around. But this moment is not a sign of delay. It is a sign of divine timing unfolding exactly as it was written. Progress is not always visible. It is not measured by who stayed or who chose you. It is measured by who you are becoming when no one is watching. It is seen in the silent struggles, in the moments of turning back to Allah, in the strength it takes to walk away from what hurt you. This is growth, even if it feels slow and unseen. You are not late. You are exactly where you are meant to be. This heartbreak, this silence, this loneliness is not punishment. It is a redirection. It is Allah closing a door that was blocking the path written for you long before you even met that person. What feels like being set back is actually being protected. If they had remained, the cost could have been much greater. Your connection with Allah could have weakened. Your identity could have become dependent on someone who was never meant to carry your soul. Your sense of worth could have been tied to something temporary. So Allah, in His perfect wisdom, allowed it to fall apart. This was not meant to hurt you, but to awaken you. You were never meant to build your life around someone who could not support your purpose. Sometimes pain becomes the reminder that brings a person back to what truly matters. This time was not wasted. It was transformation. You have changed. Your thoughts are deeper. Your needs are different. Your perspective has shifted. You no longer seek the same kind of attention. You are asking more meaningful questions. Your tears feel different now. They feel like a connection with your Lord rather than a sign of weakness. This is not delay. This is delivery. You were delivered from false promises. You were delivered from emotional dependency. You were delivered from living beneath your worth just to remain in someone's life. The pain has not fully disappeared. Memories still return. Thoughts still surface, and certain names still echo in your heart. But within that pain, something beautiful has grown. A more sincere connection with Allah. A deeper understanding that peace does not come from people. It comes from knowing that no matter how many doors close, the door to Allah always remains open. This heartbreak did not ruin your life. It revealed it. It did not take you away from your path. It brought you back to the one who never left you. There was a night when the pain felt overwhelming, when tears would not stop and words could barely form. That moment was not weakness. It was a turning point. It was the moment Allah heard you and began removing what you were too afraid to release. Instead of allowing your heart to remain attached to what was harming it, He began rebuilding it with something stronger, something capable of holding real peace. The full wisdom may not be clear yet, but one day it will be. One day this heartbreak will be seen as a bridge, something that carried you from a life built on uncertainty to a life filled with clarity, peace, and a stronger connection with Allah. A life where your heart rests without fear of losing people. A life where your peace is not dependent on anyone's presence. A life where your worship comes from fullness, not emptiness. Nothing has been lost. Nothing has been delayed. You have been refined, prepared, and guided towards something greater. And when that future unfolds in the way Allah has written it, everything will make sense. The pain, the tears, the waiting, all of it will come together with meaning. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are being carried gently and quietly through a pain that has a purpose toward a future that is already written with something far better.